In a world that pulls you farther and farther from yourself, coming home to your heart is one of the most radical things you can do. I'm Gabriel Gonzalez. Welcome to the Heart Mastery Podcast. I have my heart set on you. We've all heard that phrase, we've all said it, but here's what I want to ask you. Do you actually know what it means? Because I think that the majority of us use it as though it means the same thing as I have my mind set on something. And it doesn't, not even close. And that difference, once you really see it, changes how you understand every goal that you've ever set. When you say, I have my mind set on something, well, that's an intellectual act. You've decided that you want it. You're pointing in that direction. It lives primarily in your thoughts. But when you say, I have my heart set on you, well, that's a whole different way of being entirely. It's not a thought. It's a full inner commitment with your whole being. It means I'm fully present for this. I'm all in. I'm placing the weight of who I am right here, right now. And when you confuse these two, when you mistake intellectual planning for this kind of total inner commitment, you create a gap. And that gap is exactly where so much of our sincere efforts in conscious manifestation is often lost. Which is why, in today's conversation, I want to start with something that's both completely obvious and almost never spoken about honestly. Every significant decision that you've ever made was first made emotionally and justified intellectually afterwards. Everyone. That car you bought, the relationship you chose, the career path you took or walked away from, you moved toward it because of how you believed it would make you feel free, loved, alive, successful. The rational case came afterwards. You justified it later to explain what the heart had already decided. What the heart wants, the heart gets. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio proved this in a way that still stops me in my tracks. He studied patients who had suffered brain damage that severed their ability to process emotion, but left their intellect completely intact. Their memory, their logic, their reasoning, all perfectly functional, but they couldn't feel. And what happened when they had to make a decision? They couldn't. They would spend hours trying to choose between a blue pen and a black pen. They could list every logical property of each option endlessly, but they could not choose. Without the emotional signals, the brain has no way to pull the trigger, which tells us something very important. Listen carefully. We are not logical beings who occasionally feel things. We are feeling beings who sometimes convince ourselves that we're being logical. The feeling is always the primary driver. Logic is the story that we tell ourselves afterwards in order to explain where we already went. So if that's true, the most important question that you could be asking yourself is not what do I want, but what is it that I want to feel as a result of having that? It's what do you feel right now in this moment, in those ordinary unguarded moments? Because that feeling state is the place from which you are creating your life moment to moment. This is what I call your heart set. Not mindset, heart set. Your heart set is the emotional equivalent of your vision or your goal. It's not what you want to achieve, but how you would feel right now in this moment if that vision or goal were 100% true. It's your deepest why. It's the feeling underneath that desire. Not as an idea in your head, but as a reality right here and right now. Now, the problem that I find is that most personal development focuses primarily on the mind. So you talk about beliefs, affirmations, self-talk, mindset, habits, and those are all fantastic. But here's the thing. Right now, in this moment, as you're listening to me, your heart is generating a field. Not metaphorically, measurably. The HeartMath Institute has spent over 30 years documenting that the heart produces the largest electromagnetic field of any organ in the human body. A field that extends several feet beyond you and carries real information about your emotional state. Nassim Haramein offers a fantastic image to help us understand this. He says that if the body were a radio, receiving and transmitting frequency, consciousness, information, then the heart acts as the tuning dial. The brain and nervous system are the antenna. You don't receive what you don't want to receive. You actually receive what you're tuned into, like a radio. So you can polish the antenna all you like. But if the tuning dial is stuck on anxiety, on fear, on lack, limitation, hopelessness, resignation, well, that's the station that your life keeps playing, and therefore, that is what you're going to be manifesting. Here is where this gets really practical. Underneath every goal, there's always another goal, the real one. I call it the goal behind the goal. And the real goal is always a feeling. I want a job because I want to feel purposeful. I want a relationship because I want to feel truly seen. I want financial freedom because I want to feel genuinely free. I want a new home because I want to feel rooted, excited, at peace. The outer goal is the form. It's a specific shape that you've decided that the fulfillment of your desire should arrive in. The inner goal, on the other hand, is the essence, the actual quality of experience that you're really after. Your heart set is that essence. It's not the goal itself. It's the goal behind the goal. And here is the distinction that changes everything. The mind sees form while the heart sees essence. The mind builds a precise picture and applies enormous energy trying to make reality match it perfectly. The heart, on the other hand, holds a feeling or a frequency and recognizes it whenever and however it arrives. When you are attached to form, you can only receive what you're looking for if it arrives in exactly the same package that you imagine. But if it came in an unexpected shape or form, you may just walk right past it because it doesn't match your preconceived idea of what it was supposed to look like. When your nervous system is locked into a specific form that is not arriving, it then goes into threat mode. And then from that state, you literally cannot perceive the opportunities that might be right in front of you. But when you shift to essence instead, two things begin to happen. First, you begin cultivating that feeling right now, in this moment, rather than deferring it to a future that depends on circumstances aligning perfectly. Second, you become available to receive it through a completely different form or shape that you never anticipated. Because the truth is that life has infinite ways to deliver that experience to you that you want. Freedom, that love, that purpose, whatever, in many different ways. But it has only one way to deliver to you in exactly the same picture that your mind constructed. So someone who wants financial freedom, for example, shifts from fixating on a specific number to cultivating the feeling of having enough. Enough spaciousness, ease, moving through life without constant anxiety, having all their needs met, etc. And then from that state, they begin to notice new opportunities that fixating on the form was making invisible to them. Someone who wants a relationship shifts from a rigid picture of the right person to the essence of what they actually long for, which is to feel genuinely known, safe, loved, to be fully seen for who they really are. And so they then become available to connecting with others in a way that they simply weren't before. So what the essence creates and the form never can is an open field. You stop narrowing the infinite to the specific. And within that openness, what you're genuinely after has now room to manifest and to arrive. The open field is not somewhere you go. It's actually a state that you cultivate. You either maintain or collapse in every ordinary moment of your day. So let me leave you with this. Your heart set is not the peaceful frequency that you broadcast when you're doing your morning meditations. It's what you're broadcasting when someone cuts you off in traffic, when you're in a difficult conversation with someone, when you're completely alone with your thoughts. That baseline state in those unguarded moments, That is the actual gravity pulling your life towards you. That's your manifestation set point. And here's the question worth sitting with honestly. What is your heart actually set on right now? Not what is it that you want to set it on? Not your goal or your vision, but right now in this moment as you're listening to me, in your quiet, ordinary moments of life, where is the weight of your heart actually resting on? The next time that you say, I have my heart set on you, I want you to remember this conversation and keep in mind of what it is that you're actually offering. Because it's not just a thought, it's your entire energy field. On Tuesday, June 2nd, I'm going to be hosting a free live webinar where I'm going to walk you through the 4 stages of heart mastery and show you exactly where you are on the journey and more specifically, where your heart sits on each one. Because knowing where you are on that map changes everything about what to do next. If you would like to join me, you'll find the link in the description. Until the next time, I send you all of my love from my heart to yours. Bye-bye for now. Thanks for being here. Coming home to your heart isn't a destination. It's a daily practice, and you don't have to do it alone. Join us inside the Heart Mastery community and be sure to download the Heart Mastery Starter Kit. It's completely free and a simple way to get started. The link is in the description below.